In the world of horror, few characters are as fashionably iconic as the final girl. While she is often really hot and incredibly stylish, there's always something about a final girl's wardrobe that stands out beyond surface appeal. These outfits aren't just fashionable, they're a form of nonverbal storytelling, one that is purposely crafted to reflect a final girl's personality and journey. Costume designers don't often get a whole lot of credit for the work they do, so in this video, I want to take a closer look at some of my favorite final girl outfits to see what exactly goes into styling horror's best dressed. Color psychology is prevalent in many aspects of filmmaking, so it's no surprise that what colors a final girl wears can tell us a lot about what's going on in her mind. One of the best examples of this can be seen in the wardrobe of my favorite final girl, Sidney Prescott from Scream. The first time we meet Sidney, she's wearing a shapeless white nightgown adorned with a dainty floral pattern, an outfit that almost too obviously screams, "I'm a virgin." This is emphasized further when Sidney's boyfriend sneaks into her bedroom and tries to make a move, only to be rejected. Virginity and modesty are two traits often associated with the final girl archetype, and given that Scream serves as a meta-commentary on the slasher genre, this makes sense. In the next scene, Sidney wears an extremely low contrast outfit, a light blue shirt paired with light wash jeans and white sneakers. For a bit of context, Sidney's mom was murdered about a year before the events of the film, and with rumors swirling about an affair, a lot of unwanted attention was brought to Sidney. Traumatized by this loss and how it was sensationalized, Sidney was left somber and guarded. The subdued colors of this outfit reflect her desire to remain unnoticed, especially in the crowded environment of school. Costume designer Cynthia Bergstrom noted that Sidney's wardrobe, a quiet protest to the rumors surrounding her mother, is an attempt to adhere to the image of a quote-unquote good girl, someone quiet and compliant. Sidney's final outfit, which she wears to a party, marks a shift in her character. Although blue is dominant again, more contrast is employed through her black pants, a color often associated with edge, dominance, and power, reflecting Sidney's growing confidence in herself. Also, her hair is loose, further communicating that she's letting her guard down. To solidify this personality change, Sidney initiates sex with her boyfriend, ultimately subverting the virginal final girl trope. It's no coincidence that Sidney is at her most physically powerful while wearing this black accented outfit, as she fights for survival against the masked killer tormenting her town. After a few chase sequences and a lot of blood, it's revealed that Sidney's boyfriend and his boyfriend are the culprits, seeking revenge for a parental affair. Sidney's resourcefulness and intelligence come to the forefront in this scene, as she outsmarts her assailants and delivers the final blow to her boyfriend. This transformation, both in character and clothing, reinforces how color can signify a final girl's emotional evolution. We see a similar evolution play out through Laurie Strode's wardrobe in Halloween, probably the most recognizable final girl, and for good reason. Laurie, if you don't know, is the antithesis of Michael Myers, and although her character has developed much more throughout the franchise, we're just going to focus on her style in the first film for now. When we and Michael are introduced to Laurie, she is wearing something atrocious. I'm not sure if this outfit was just as visually unappealing in 1978, but it certainly does convey that this character is nerdy and fashionable and very likely chaste. This outfit consists largely of unassuming brown and cream pieces, emphasizing the modest and conservative energy Laurie's giving off. Basically, this color palette is not drawing attention to her. In this moment, she doesn't really seem like someone able to defend herself if she needs to. However, she does wear a pretty striking black shirt, which is interesting. As we've established with Sidney, black is a color that typically communicates strength and confidence. Considering she wears this black top under a cream sweater, this tells us that she doesn't fully embrace this more confident side of her personality, but it is there. Alright, now let's look at Laurie's outfit during her final encounter with Michael Myers. She seems far more relaxed here, a visual contrast to the reserved girl we met at the start. Although she's wearing a dress shirt, which inherently conveys formality, it's unbuttoned at the top, communicating a sense of ease. Paired with her blue jeans, a symbol of practicality and groundedness, Laurie's outfit exudes a newfound confidence. No longer hiding behind conservative layers or subdued tones, Laurie embodies resilience and bravery. During the final battle, this perseverance is communicated through her actions as well, although she isn't the one to deliver the final blow. I mean, technically no one does, considering Michael's body disappears after being shot several times and tossed out of a window. I was pleasantly surprised to learn that Jamie Lee Curtis actually played a huge role in designing Laurie's wardrobe.
I remember meeting with the costume woman, talking about Laurie, and we went to JCPenney, and we basically bought back to school clothes for this girl. So it was like going shopping with Laurie's mother.
She very intentionally dressed Laurie as the good girl, which is an example of just how much thought goes into a final girl's character design. The color of Dani's wardrobe in Midsommar serves as a striking visual representation of her emotional journey, as well as the journey of her status and the community she surrounds herself with. When we first meet Dani, she's wearing a dark sweater, consumed by anxiety over an ominous email sent to her by her sister. Naturally, she wears the same sweater later in the night when she receives life-altering news that serves as a catalyst for her depression throughout the rest of the film. For the majority of Midsommar's runtime, Dani wears a lot of neutral colors that mirror her mental state, one riddled with trauma and the disappointment of a failing relationship. It's only when Dani has been in rural Sweden with her boyfriend and his friends for a few days that her wardrobe begins to shift. Embraced by the cults that her group has come to study, they slowly strip Dani of her former identity, literally and symbolically. They empathize with her pain in a way she hasn't seen before and dress her in a white gown. As I mentioned earlier with Sydney and Scream, a final girl dressed in white traditionally signifies purity and innocence, but in this case, the color symbolizes renewal and solidifies Dani's assimilation into the cult. By the film's climax, Dani is almost swallowed by an elaborate floral gown as a result of her winning a contest. This is the most color we've seen on her, and quite frankly anyone in the film, marking a dramatic shift in her character. She's gone from being overlooked and treated with disdain by her boyfriend and his friends to the other extreme, complete worship. This overwhelming display of colors illustrates how the cult is finally giving Dani the validation and comfort she's been craving, even if her moral compass is sacrificed in the process. Heralded as one of the first final girls, Jess Bradford is the last sorority sister standing in Black Christmas. If you haven't seen this film, I think you'd be pleasantly surprised by how progressive Jess is, especially when the quintessential final girl is sober, a virgin, and overall the most quote-unquote pure of the group she's in. When the woman who best fits the conservative ideal of femininity is the only one to survive, it can push the idea that female viewers will be karmically punished for not living up to those standards. In Black Christmas, however, the girl most fitting of this description is the one who dies first, her corpse haunting the rest of the film. Jess Bradford is actually a bit controversial, seeing as though she is not only pregnant out of wedlock, but also set on getting an abortion against her controlling boyfriend's will. At the beginning of the film, Jess wears a black sweater with white hands appearing to hold her back, serving as a not-so-subtle nod to the symbolic restraints of her unwanted pregnancy. In the words of Jessica Scott, author of the article Color and Costuming in Black Christmas, the hands splayed across her chest seem to be a protective barrier or a warning. Her sweater says, "Hands off my body." Black Christmas follows a group of sorority sisters who are murdered by an unknown assailant throughout the film. As a result of her boyfriend's increasing hostility after her insistence on getting an abortion, Jess begins to suspect that he's the culprit. Near the end of the film, after being chased throughout the house, Jess hides in the basement. When her boyfriend conveniently appears and breaks into the basement through a window, Jess kills him in self-defense. However, a twist reveals that the true killer is still alive, hiding in the sorority's attic. While it's possible that Jess meets her end after the credits roll, which is a frustrating thought, seeing her kill her aggressive, threatening boyfriend just feels satisfying. Although she didn't vanquish the ultimate threat, Jess took control of her story, freeing herself from the expectations of motherhood and a passionless marriage. and in that moment, she reclaimed her future. Even though her boyfriend isn't the killer, he certainly threatened her life. During this final scene, Jess wears an outfit nearly identical to the one we first met her in, but the hands are gone, representing her journey toward emotional liberation. Barbarian, which is a fantastic film, by the way, you should definitely watch it if you haven't yet. Barbarian's final girl, Tess, is pretty unique in the sense that she wears the same outfit for what seems like weeks at a time. The journey she goes through in the film is not mirrored by the kinds of clothes she wears or what colors she dons, but by the physical distress that her outfit endures. Barbarian follows the story of two people who fall victim to a double-booked Airbnb, and, even worse than that, something sinister that lurks just beneath the house. Essentially, Tess wears an extremely ordinary outfit. Just a white top and sneakers with some jeans that juxtaposes the absurdity she endures while in it. Her white shirt, specifically, becomes a record of her survival, since by the end, it's torn and soiled with blood and dirt. By the time the credits roll, Tessa's outfit is barely recognizable, emphasizing how a final girl's wardrobe can serve as an essential nonverbal storytelling technique. Then there's the issue of practicality. As I'm sure you've noticed, the outfits of many final girls are focused on sex appeal, even, and most often, when it has absolutely nothing to do with the story. A great example of this can be seen in Until Dawn, a game where a group of teenagers have to survive the night in a remote winter lodge. This is one of my favorite games, but there's always one scene that makes me roll my eyes. One of the characters, Sam, who I've deemed a final girl for the sake of this video simply because she cannot die until the very end, is taking a bath. She's listening to music with earphones in, so she doesn't hear when a masked figure sneaks into the bathroom and steals her clothes. When she gets out of the bath and realizes she's got nothing to wear, she traverses the empty house to find the culprit. This eventually results in her being chased by the aforementioned masked figure, jumping, crawling, and climbing stairs, all while in this white towel. Eventually, she does find something more practical to wear, but I can't help but feel like this sequence was only added for fan service. Don't get me wrong, of course I think it would be terrifying to have to run from someone wearing the one item of clothing least fitting for the occasion, but come on. Not only is Sam a hottie, she's also the only universally likable character, considering she is kind, empathetic, resourceful, and funny from beginning to end. She's also the only female character not actively in or pursuing a relationship, which means she's available. Which I know is a little insane to say, but we've seen how people can react when a celebrity they would never have a chance with reveals a relationship, so I don't think it's crazy to say that the fact Sam isn't romantically involved adds to her attractiveness. Therefore, my theory is that the main reason we play as Sam running around in a towel is to excite the players a little bit, if you know what I mean. There are mods you can buy to make her even more scantily clad, so obviously this outfit, if you can even call it that, is doing something for somebody. Another example of character design leading into fan service can be seen in Fatal Frame, a horror game where a high school student named Miku navigates a mansion haunted with violent ghosts to find her missing brother. There is so much thought put into her outfit, like her hair accessory that's been passed down through generations of supernaturally gifted women, a choker that visually ties her to her brother, and even a character color. According to her designer, Jin Hasegawa, Miku roughly translates to crimson, which is why we see dark red accents in her outfit. However, I want to focus more on the difference between her original Japanese design and the US redesign. It's pretty subtle, but in the redesign, she's a little curvier, seemingly just for the purpose of making her sexy, which feels disgusting to say. Reminder, she's in high school. Miku was intentionally designed with a slender figure to, quote, show she isn't belligerent, end quote, so I really see no reason she needs to be curvier in the redesign. On the other hand, there are also some great examples of a final girl's outfit not only being practical, but literally helping her survive. In Friday the 13th, Part 2, final girl Ginny Field dresses as Jason's dead mother to distract him, which temporarily works. She convinces him to kneel before her and nearly strikes when he suddenly catches a glimpse of his mother's decapitated head and catches on to the ruse. In Ready or Not, another great movie I hadn't seen before researching this video, Grace's wedding dress is absolutely iconic. The fact that she has to survive in this outfit alone solidifies her in the Final Girl Fashion Hall of Fame, if I do say so myself. Even better than that, she uses her outfit to survive, tearing part of it to use as a bandage when her hand gets shot, and using her sash to strangle the butler who wants to see her dead. Sexy and practical outfits are far too common in Final Girl fashion, so I love to see films where outfits serve more than to just accent a woman's body. So, there you go, a very brief exploration into Final Girl fashion. More often than not, the evolution of a Final Girl's wardrobe is far more than just a matter of aesthetics. These costumes are visual cues, communicating a story that words just can't. Although the actions that a character takes to solidify herself as the Final Girl is ultimately what makes her the most memorable, I think that her fashion plays a huge role in shaping our perception of her, whether we actively realize it or not. If you've watched to this point, I hope that you're able to appreciate the craft that is costume design a little more than you did before. And I would love to know what your favorite Final Girl outfit is, or your favorite outfit from any piece of horror media. I'm down. Just talk to me in the comments. The algorithm would love that for me. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you soon. Bye!